everybody. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Tanya Wojciechowski, and so excited. I'm one of the co-founders and organizers of Spark Retreat, which is taking place in Taos, New Mexico, this coming April 16 to 21. And Spark brings women creative entrepreneurs together to learn, to identify what really makes them unique and what really makes them shine, and helps you use those qualities to really step up in your business and in your personal life. And I'm so excited because I'm talking to one of our leaders today, Dyana Valentine. And Dyana Valentine is an instigator, and she is definitely not for the faint of heart. She had me bawling my eyes out last Spark Retreat, which is always a good thing for me. I had epiphany after epiphany when I was working with Dyana, and you may not bawl your eyes out, but I can promise you that she will really get you digging deep inside of yourself and really identifying some key elements about yourself. Dyana has done a couple of amazing TEDx talks, one entitled "Your Problem Is Not the Problem," and the other is "I'm Not Sorry." And she uses tools to develop tools that she's developed, such as super conditions and the woke up knowing experience, to help you lean into what you're truly capable of so you can make the right decisions while you serve your clients and your community. And she's based in Los Angeles, California. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Diana, why don't you tell us one of your favorite things about Spark last year, since you were a leader last year when we were in Santa Fe?
I loved it. And one of the things I loved from a facilitator standpoint is that I had access to people over several days. And I think pajama time was probably my favorite. Just having breakfast in pajamas and being able to be like casual and really get to know some gorgeous, gorgeous women like you and Deanna and Jessica and Alex. It was just great.
What are one of the things that really pumps you up, gets your juices flowing, fills you with glee?
Well, one of the things that really fills me with glee about taking a chance like this was a real experiment. So last year was the first Spark, and I didn't really know what it was going to be about, but I just knew, like, energy wise, when I read the description, and I knew my friend Alex was doing it, and I just went, I want to come. I want to be there. And I just knew, like, when you just feel that like zing happen, we have to show up for that. We have to. I think that that's the way that we can live kind of lives of champions. Like, we are all out championing our causes, and we are champions in our families, and we're champions among our friends, even if we don't feel like champions all the time. And there's a way in which that taking that step to really have an experience that's just for us and by us is just priceless, really.
Amazing. Getting to know you a little better, what was Diana like when she was 9 years old?
That's so cute. Well, from the tales that have been told, I was really sweet, always really interested in what other people were doing and how they were. And, I sort of made it my mission that when I learned how to do something, I had this just irrepressible need to share it with other people and to teach other people what I'd figured out, like, all on my own. I learned how to tie my shoes, and now everybody's got to learn how to tie their shoes. It was great. Very easy for me to take up a cause as a kid.
I think you're still the same way now. Like at the retreat, you're just like, oh my God, guys, look at this. Isn't this amazing? I can totally see that in you. Oh my God. So, talking about being goofy, one of the workshops that we did last year, I led an improv workshop, and I
Yeah.
talked about the exercise of doing yes and, where you say yes to everything and you expand on it. And then we also did a couple of clowning games as well. And you really seemed to enjoy yourself during those workshops. And I believe that you went on to take a stand-up comedy class during the summer and in the fall. Can you tell us about that and how much fun that is?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's fun for me. It's sort
It's
of
probably,
harrowing.
I think I would throw up every single time.
It's really stressful. And I had taken an improv class right before I came to Spark. And that and your experience really reminded me that yes, and in our lives is so liberating. I mean, I wouldn't say it's required or you have to go and yes, and it's right now. It's not like some kind of like assignment, but it's an opportunity to live a life of play and interplay. And when you say yes, and way more is possible than no, but no, but no, but no. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. That whole hesitation, it not only stops us, but it stops the people around us. And it also sets an example for our kids and for our friends that, like, oh, we should really probably be more cautious here. And 99% of the time, we're really not in danger. So we could have the opportunity to play. And that was just like a really great outcome and kind of revitalized my desire to take risks and take yes and risks versus no, but okay, I'll do it, but
Yeah, it's definitely freeing and it's so creative. Like it just sets you up to to not prejudge yourself, not do any of that. It's just completely freeing. Oh, it's fantastic. We have to remember to do it more often for sure. Um, One of the things that you are really super good at is reading people and potentially seeing qualities that they have or seeing how they are without them necessarily even seeing it themselves. Or they know it, they just don't acknowledge it, that sort of thing. When do you think that you started realizing that you had this um, talent, shall we say? Or was it something that you gradually got to realize about yourself? Or was it just like, wham, one day you're just like, oh my God, I know what you should do or how you are?
well, I've certainly always had a lot of opinions. That's for sure. I don't think I saw it as a craft per se until, maybe into my mid 30s. So I'm about to turn 44 next week. Yay.
Happy
And
birthday!
thank you. And I think it was really around the time when I was shifting my business from more of a uber pragmatic, like let's solve this very specific project or problem, or I did a lot of project management and professional organizing work that was very concrete. And every time we would get to about the 80% mark of a project, it would all of a sudden get very diffuse. Something would happen where people would go like, okay, that's good enough. Like we've gotten far enough. But that was right at the sort of precipice of getting into what the real challenge was. So it was very rarely the project itself. It was a deeper calling or a deeper conflict between what we think we should be doing and what we're really put on the planet to be and what we're really already being, because all of us are already being us like at 100% all the time, even if we feel like we're kind of getting a D in the class. We really are being fully ourselves even when we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So I somewhere around there I started to feel like I was sort of sniffing out what the thing was, but it was all subterfuge with what we had agreed to play with, this thing that was outside of us. So I started to get little hints, and I would very cautiously bring those up because oftentimes I felt like I might be making something up. I kind of doubted it. And
Yeah.
so I tested it very gently with several clients, and then with more clients, and then with several audiences. And when I started to test it with audiences, I was really on the right track. And so I use that sort of empirical analytical side of my brain to empower the sort of conceptual seer part of my brain. And I would gather information. And as I gathered more information, I took more risks and I became more confident about being able to see sort of what's hiding in plain sight. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people are intimidated by working with me because they hear this legend precedes them that, oh my gosh, I was crying or I made somebody cry or whatever. We all have different indicators that we're on the right path. Some of us feel it in our bodies. Some of us have thoughts that seem like, oh, that's the thought I usually have right before I'm onto something. Some of us have emotional markers. And
Mm-hmm.
so you feeling emotionality, you are an emoter. That's your gift on the planet. So the fact that we tapped into that very quickly, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm confrontational in a very loving way, or I try to be in a very loving way,
Mm-hmm.
confronting you so quickly on day one within the first hour or two brought up that emotionality,
Yeah.
and it tapped into your gift, and we took your gift and we played some games with it because you're a yes and person. I used my gift of seeing as your gift of emotionality, and we could actually do something with it.
Yeah.
So it's still a process of experimentation, but I trust my hypotheses more now, and I'm also not really as attached to the outcome of the experiments as much as I was before. So I don't get too like grippy, like, no, I didn't, like, go animal communicators. It's not so I'm not so rigid about it now.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the super conditions and the model that you have built up, and um, maybe that'll explain a little bit about how people can find out some of their own unique qualities. If your model is changing now, maybe talk about that as well.
Is something that is it's a process of inquiry. So we are, because most of us are kind of coming into these experiences like, I'm not sure, what if, could it be, am I allowed, these are kind of the common questions. And what I think is really interesting about super conditions is super conditions help us define not only why we have these questions, but why throughout our lives it seems like the stories have gone like this, or the stories have. It's actually a kind of process that you rinse and repeat through, and what you come out of it with is you come out of it with this language. You come out of it with your own set of vocabulary that describes why you do what you do, why you do it the way you do it, and then you use those sort of your own natural resources and and take risks, make these experiments with life. So that's just to say that this is actually not a diagnosis. This is not about coming in and you're going to have one of these 8 super conditions. Everybody's super conditions are different, and they're different because we signify them in very different ways. So super conditions that I considered as a process of creating this model is playing with strangers. It is without question something that I think came in with me as a little baby. As I learned how to talk to strangers, I would grab strangers as a baby and like get in their face and like just want with people. And then I'd be like, okay, we're done. Go over here and play with this person. And when I recognized that, what I was able to do is I was able to figure out when playing with strangers serves me and when it doesn't serve me. And when it serves me, it looks and feels like this, and these habits sort of crop up to support that process. When it's not serving me, I have thoughts, feelings, and habits that are kind of like I can quantify them, so I can really see them as signals. They're like, no, I need to nudge over this way, more into this yay kind of way of being. So we start to define these super conditions, and we all have multiples, and they're really fun to find. There's some really fun games to play to get to your super conditions. Then we can really look at the structures of our life. We can look at relationships in our lives. We can look at jobs. We can look at opportunities. We can look at decisions. And you can measure them against your super conditions at the yay level where they're working for you. So, oh, no wonder I wanted to do that. Okay, it makes sense on this level, this level, this level. I might have these kind of conflicts, but I can probably resolve them over here. It's a beautiful, beautiful process for discernment, decision making, and developing our own capacity to lead and give and make change in the world. So I'm super proud of it, and I'm so thrilled that I get to use it with the Spark group. I think it's going to be really, really wonderful.
I love too how the super conditions, how you set them up as neutral. And so that you have a side that works and a side that doesn't work. It's not necessarily you're off the wrong path if you're in the side that doesn't work. It's just you haven't acknowledged or you don't realize yet that that's something very important to you, and you're not allowing yourself to play with it and let it shine in a way that actually works for you. So I love that because it helped me realize that I wasn't like kind of on the wrong path or something. It was just I had this thing that I needed to do and it just was in the wrong environment.
Think of it like it's again, I like this correlate or this analogy of a natural resource. So we walk around with these sets of natural resources. You have an amazing clown, right? I don't have the clown. What was one of your super conditions? Joy tricks
Yeah,
vibe.
it was the kind of, I was hiding a lot of my dominatrix under all my linen and gingham, as you said. So soft on the inside, tough, or soft on the outside, tough on the inside.
Yeah, natural resource that you have. Now, I'm tough on the outside and soft and mushy on the inside. So we complement each other really well. Even the way that we solved problems during the Spark retreat,
Mm-hmm.
you did really well. And that allowed us to collaborate in a way just looking at the surface. And we were just looking at, oh, she's so tough on the outside, and oh, she's so soft on the outside, and we can't like make this is not going to work. This is apples and oranges, right? But we were able to fruit salad, and it's fantastic. What people find is they discover that when they work through the super conditions and they work them over time, what happens is they recognize, oh my gosh, not only was I sitting on this amazing pond of clear, crisp water, use it to fuel my car that uses gas. And it's like, wait, that doesn't quite work. And so not only recognizing that we have all these amazing resources, but how to marshal them, to use them over time in sustainable ways and relate to other people so that we can all get stuff done. That's a friggin' miracle. And I love it.
Hallelujah. Um, you have helped people have some major paradigm shifts, me included. Have you had any of your own recently that you'd like to share?
Uh, things that happen through my own process of discovery through super condition is that I recognize that my business model actually wasn't working for me. It was serving me in a lot of ways. So, now, I enjoy being live. And I was really trying to get myself into a place where I could document my work and make it really clear and digested, pre-digested for other people. Well, lo and behold, my work is kind of obtuse. It's very difficult to describe. Most people, everybody when I go and speak somewhere or when I'm interviewed, everybody introduces me in a very different way. Descriptions and different sort of interpretations of what my work is. And I that was problematic. I thought that was sort of my fault for not really having like a really clear introduction and a title that I always use the same way and this now means to me is that yes, this is sort of a vague open to interpretation experience. It's customizable to every client who I work with. It's going to have a different outcome. So I'm not going to be measuring, I'm not going for the same exact outcome every time I'm working. And when I released that, what happened is I got better clients, better matched for me. Started to attract clients who were true leaders, social movement people, multiple book published authors, really level speakers, because they're not afraid of the mystery. Looking for, well, what can I get for my money? They're not looking for, can you guarantee me 6-figure income? These are not my people. And when I was trying to put myself in that box, what was happening was I was doing fine. You know, I'm competent at what I do. But it had this like restriction on it, had this cramp in the side of it, sort of lingering malaise. And I almost couldn't recognize it because I thought it was just hard work, and it's supposed to be hard work. Mm-hmm. Loving working with people who are like, I'm feeling like I'm in this box and I don't like it, and I know I'm supposed to get outside the box, and I know I'm supposed to get outside my comfort zone, whatever. I think that when we live in our greatness, we're actually way more comfortable that we've created for ourselves that have someone else's label on them, that have someone else's process on them. And I realize the irony of that, because I'm proposing that you explore this process. The difference is, this is not about finding out what's wrong with you. Mm-hmm. Using what's right to do the good work on the planet.
Yeah. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So, how are you going to help the participants at Spark this year do that? Use their right to move forward.
Yeah, we're going to do this process. We're going to get into super conditions, and I'm going to intuition tools up to 10, because we're going to be in a very safe, controlled environment where we're here for a few days, so I can really unleash and open up a 2-hour workshop or something like that. It's going to be a process where I'm going to be dreaming for people and also doing some intellectual exercises so that we can connect our super conditions with this process, which the purpose of me being on the planet and being at Spark is to help people on their way of educating their intuition. Because if you educate intuition, that you just simply will not have the pain and suffering, exhaustion and conflict that you had before. And at least even when we do in life have conflict and suffering and exhaustion, it won't feel so devastating. Mm-hmm. And so support that process, that invitation into the flow of the practice of what it's like to live as a champion, then I will feel I've done a good job.
Yeah, I'm excited. I cannot wait for it.
It's going to be really good.
Would you like to dance interpretively with me to show our excitement for Spark?
Yeah, chair dancing. I love it.
You want chair dance? Awesome. Thank you so much, Dyana. I cannot wait for Spark, and I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk to us a little bit about you, about what you do, and about what you'll be doing for our Spark members who come to the retreat.
See you guys in Taos.